hair. So it's been a big topic of conversation as of lately for the last few weeks. So I definitely wanted to talk about it and get everybody else's input. So you're in a relationship, and for guys, it's a little bit more lenient. You grow beards, you shave, they grow back faster for some of you. You know, those of you who have locks, it may be a big decision factor. But other than that, you grow your hair out, you cut it. It's something that you guys maintain regularly. However, for females, it's a little bit different. And every guy has their own preference on what they want their woman's hair to look like. Most men like long hair. Some guys don't have a preference. So really, if you had a partner and they made the decision to cut their hair or style their hair in a certain way, or to color their hair a completely opposite color, how would you feel about it? If you had someone that was going natural and did the big chop in your relationship, is that something, I know Donovan, we spoke about it, and you and your wife, my cousin Tina, talked about it being a discussion, you know, and that you wouldn't mind certain things, but everyone knows what their significant other or husband or wife likes and doesn't like. So when it comes to decision-making process, how do you guys feel about it? There's some women that kind of feel as if it's their hair, they can do what they want, they know what their man likes or doesn't like. And then there's some men that don't have a preference, that don't mind what their wife comes home and looks like with their hair as long as they look good. There's some that would not go for that are like, no, you definitely can't make a decision without telling me. You have to ask my permission. I've heard a lot of different feedback when it comes to this. Can't nobody tell me what to do. All right, Melita, so where's Roscoe? I definitely want him to chime in. I wanted Mike and Nicole to chime in as well. So everyone feels differently. So I want to hear what you guys have to say and how you guys feel about it. Hey, Taz! How you guys feel about it. Women, do you feel that you need to talk to your husband about the decisions that you make with your hair? Do you feel obligated or inclined to do so, or are you confident enough to say, my man's gonna love me regardless of what I do? Men, how do you feel about it? Would you mind if your wife came home with blonde hair or orange hair or pink hair, short hair, or weave, for those of you who are not weave wearers, did the big chop for the going natural, or had dreadlocks and then just cut the locks off? You know what I mean? How would you guys feel about this? So I want to hear from both sides of the spectrum, men and women, people that are in marriages and or just relationships, or some that are single and kind of just go into relationship just feeling how they feel about what they choose to do with their hair or not do with their hair. So I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say, because I've definitely heard a lot of different things, interesting things, things that have kind of maybe raised an eyebrow or two, even though I can't really raise my eyebrow. I have to like do this. But definitely want to hear, what's up, cuzzo? Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. So let's start with the women. I know Melita has already tasked, I wouldn't mind, but we will have to accept the change. But she has to understand that if a man dealing what type she's dealing with gives an opinion, so yes, so men do have opinions, and I guess, like I said, most men have their preferences on what type of hairstyles they like their woman to have or don't have. I know there are some guys that definitely don't like weaves. There are some guys that definitely don't like short hair. There are men that don't like braids. Where you at, Donovan? So the opinion, yeah, it comes in. It can be a good or bad opinion. It can. But what happens if we are dating? I have to accept whatever she wants. If she's my wife, I absolutely have an input in that decision. I definitely agree that you have an input on the decision. So do you feel as if, and I think we talked about this, I can't remember Please refresh my memory. Does it have to be you hate macro braids? Yes. So if she comes home, she knows you don't like macro braids. Got that. So she would never do that because she knows this is a turn off for you. However, if she came home and she cut her hair, now your wife's hair is really long, if she cut it with the Halle Berry hairstyle, how would you feel about that? Is that something that would be, that you would expect her to have talked to you about? That's something I think you guys said you would naturally do anyway. Melita, some people wouldn't mind. She would probably come home and just do whatever it is that she does, and he would have to accept it. Yeah, hubby prefers my long hair, but he doesn't mind the change. He did express earlier on no weaves, haha. So there you go. There are some men that feel that way, that feel strongly about that. But me being an artist, it's about if they did a good job on the style. Taz, that's definitely something that Donovan mentioned earlier in our conversation. So as long as they come home and they look good, it doesn't matter what they did with their hair. But then there are some people that don't feel that way. She can do what she wants, but if the hairdresser doesn't do a good job, I'll tell her to change people. I definitely agree on that, because I am not a big going to the hair salon person. If it's something that I can do myself, then I'd rather do it, but if not, then I'll go to a hair salon. However, 8 times out of 10 I go to a hair salon, I'm not very pleased with it. So I definitely agree with that. And I think that's honestly something that Tina and Donovan spoke about when they did it. Like, if the person messes up their hair, or if they come home and their hair looks trashy, then that's definitely a problem. Don't do the big chop and the hair looks a mess. Don't look like yesterday's ham sandwich, basically. So you want to look put together, you look clean and look good. But I love real hair. Okay, so again, that's definitely something that everyone has their opinion on. Just like Melita just said, her husband doesn't like weaves. Donovan said he doesn't like macro braids. But what about the short hair and the big chop? Let's talk about the big chop. Well, everyone's, it's the thing now. Everyone wants to go natural. Everyone wants to do the big chop. There's some people that don't have the natural thick hair and they don't need the big chop. But what if they just want to change? Like Tina, for example, if her hair is super long and she comes home one day, or the seasons change and the wind is blowing her the right way, she just feels like cutting her hair off. What about that? So we're going to talk about the natural big chop, and we're just going to talk about just the style big chop. Just the big chop in general, whether it's going natural or not. Going natural, okay, that's one thing, and it's a process. But there are natural styles that you can style and still look good and not look like who did it and why. So definitely a room for error there. Oh, I love the bald too. So you like the bald look. See, how many guys that are watching right now can honestly say that they like the bald look? That's a first that I'm hearing that. I think Donovan said that he didn't mind. Is that right, Tina? He said he didn't mind the big chop as long as it looks good. I know my husband does not like it. He does not do the short hair. He's like, no, not at all. Auntie, how would Paul feel if you cut all your hair off? Nicole, how would Mike feel if you cut all your hair off? Lois, oh wow, big hair, big curls, curls and boys, y'all. What's up? So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Mike doesn't like short hair at all, not even a trim. See? So we have one person that tuned in and said that he doesn't mind the short hair, the bald hair. Exactly. He went all the way bald, not the Halle Berry bald. Neither does Rike. Okay. So he died. Melita said that he died. Mike, that is. So again, everyone has their preferences, but what happens if Nicole is going through a midlife crisis and decides to say, you know what, this is what I really want to do. I really want to cut my hair. What if you did the same thing, Joanna? Then what? Would there be controversy? And would it make them look at you different? Men, would you look at your significant other differently if they came home with a hairstyle that you didn't care for? Jude said he doesn't either. He wouldn't talk to me. So your husband would not talk to you if you came home with a completely different style hair that he didn't even like. It's that deep. That's serious. So at what point is there compromise? At what point do we as women get to choose something that is the contrary of what our significant other wants? Because let's say, for example, men, when you grow your beards, there are some women that love beards by getting a wig. So what happens if you get old and your hair falls out? I guess we're going to be old ladies rocking wigs. But let's talk about the men. Let's talk about the men for a second. The compromise starts as soon as he sees her. Okay. See, Taz, you are a compromising man, and you actually are very open to diversity, and it's probably because, like you said, you're an artist. So let's talk about the guys for a second, since we talk about the girls. How many guys out there have women that prefer or don't prefer beards and mustaches, or long thick hair, or short tapered hair, or dreads or no dreads? How many women on here would like to see their guy with different hairstyles, but it's not something that they prefer? So let's flip the story. Let's flip the script there now. You know what I mean? So they would or wouldn't like something that we come home with, but what if it's a change that we would like to see? I mean, I prefer hubby with the goatee, but his beard has grown on me. Did you originally like it and he didn't like it? Or he liked it and you didn't like it, but he decided to grow in it, so you had to deal with it? And if that's the case, then why not cut your hair or do what you want with your hair, and it would have to grow on him? You see that? You see that twist right there? So these are things that's kind of like, it's a big controversy. I love my baldy, but I'm sure he'd like his hair back. Yeah. I prefer the bald head look. I don't think women would express what they want, because if a man doesn't have it, he might start thinking that's what she wants from other men. Really? When it comes to hair and a beard or a mustache, is it that deep? Like, let's be real here. Like, I'm always 100% real. Is it that deep for a man to feel insecure about being able to grow or not grow a beard or a mustache, or hair for that matter? Yes, a beard. We don't place any emphasis on one another when it comes to our styles. However, we will let one another know when they're setting themselves up. Now that I like. That definitely a beard. Okay, so let's say, for example, you guys are dating or you're married, and the gentleman only can grow a little bit of facial hair, but the woman is used to growing hair, and she says, hey babe, have you ever grown a beard before, or a mustache? I really would like to see how that looks on you. And if a man is unable to do that, he would seriously be insecure enough to feel as if, because that's what she would like to see of him, that she would look for that in other men. Women, do you guys feel like that would actually happen? Because I don't feel, I guess it depends on the type of person that you are. Nice talking, gotta go. All right, Taz. I honestly don't feel as if it's that real. Just like different styles of clothes and shoes, and sometimes you gotta turn things on and off. You probably would just move on though. Dang, is that deep? If he doesn't already have her. I don't know. Like, that's deep right there. That's really deep. I would have never thought that something like a beard or a mustache would have such a significant hold on a man that it would make or break his relationship with her. Because if that's the case, would that be the same thing for a woman doing a big chop or coming home with a hairstyle that he may or may not like? Or if a man wants to see his woman grow dreads and she doesn't want to? Is that a make or break decision maker? You know what I mean? I don't know. There has to be compromise at some point, no? There has to be a discussion at some point. And what about if they get that bald spot in the middle? Yes! Okay, so we're going to talk about that. Good one, curls and boys. Good one. So, yeah. What happens if, as we get older, as we all do, and things change, our body change, our hair change, we get wrinkles, our hair turns gray. We're going to talk about gray hair in a minute, or colored hair in a minute. What happens when the guy starts going bald? Or a lady's hair starts to thin? Then what? Because the same thing can apply. Like Taya said, you start looking for it in other women or other men. So as you get older and your body changes, is that what's going to happen also? You start looking at other men and other women because things are just not the same or not how you like it? We just got deep real quick. Now let's talk about colored hair. If your man or woman came home with blonde, Goldilocks blonde hair, or if your hair is blonde, jet black hair, or orange hair, or blue hair, or burgundy hair, you know, it's fall time now. People are going to start getting the color itch and want maroon hair or something. What happens? How do you feel about that? Especially men. Like, it's not often you see men with colored hair. So what if your man comes home with some color on his head? And men, what happens when your woman comes home with significantly colored hair? How do you guys feel about that? Because that can go a lot of different ways, because it could easily be changed. I mean, yeah, we could go back and we can color it, but what if that's not what the person wants to do? What if the color change is something that's a seasonal thing? Like, okay, I'm about to color my hair ruby red because that's just the mood that I'm in. Nope. What do you mean nope? What are you saying nope to, Melita? You would not like if he came home with colored hair, but it's okay for you to come home to do whatever it is that you want with your hair? Again, where's the compromise? Learn to love it. So you would learn to love the colored hair, or you would expect your husband to learn to love your colored hair, or vice versa. Hey, Deborah. All right, so we spoke about women and their hair changes. Ugh, fine. So you would deal with the colored hair. See, that's the compromise. So I see that there's more compromise when it comes to women accepting changes that a man does to his hair. Whether it's balding. He cannot come with no platinum blonde beard. There's a lot of compromise, it seems like, with women accepting changes that a man makes to his hair or his facial hair or his hair color. But what I've seen here today is that there isn't a lot of compromise when it comes to women and the changes that women make to their hair, whether it's cutting it or coloring it or doing the big chop or cutting dreads off or growing dreads. Nope, still can't tell me what to do. Laugh my ass off, but I'll ride it out if that's what he wants to do. Exactly. So, hey, Diamond. So again, it seems like from the conversation tonight and everyone that has chimed in, it seems as if there's more compromise when it comes to things that a woman will accept from a man as far as his hair or his color hair or his beard or his mustache, whether it's growing it or cutting it or even balding, because that happens, in comparison to the things that men would accept or deem acceptable or unacceptable when it comes to their woman's hair. All right, Taz is back. So, I don't know. We mentioned earlier about it being a decision factor, and Taz, you missed what we just spoke about, but the changes as far as things that someone is looking for or would like to see from their significant other or their partner as far as their hair is concerned, whether it's seeing a beard or a mustache or dreadlocks or a hair color or a cut or length. The concern of them looking for something or looking for that in someone else because they're unable to accomplish those things, unable to accomplish growing a beard or a mustache, or for a woman growing their hair long, or growing dreadlocks because of their hair texture or whatever the case is. If the concern is not being able to fulfill those desires or those needs, would that be a make or break or determining factor on whether you're going to be with that person or not? Now that's when things start getting deep, and that's when things start to be worrisome. Because at that point, where's the compromise? Where's the understanding? No. What are you saying no to, darkness? Because based on tonight's conversation, there's more compromise when it comes to women accepting the things that happen to a man's hair than what a man accepts from a woman. Some people just like these things. I don't think they realize that their soulmate may not have those things. And that's very true. That is very true indeed. So no, it should not be a determining factor on the make or break in a relationship. You say that, darkness, but earlier Taz kind of has said, like, if a woman wants to see a beard or a mustache on their man, the man is going to then start to have insecurities and feel like because he's unable to grow a beard or a mustache, that woman may be looking for those things in another man. And I'm like, if that's the case, what happens when we grow old? What happens when we get old? And like Lois had said, men start getting that bald spot in their head, but the woman that you're with likes hair on the top of your head, curly hair, long hair. What happens then? You know what I mean? So you kind of play in that gray area when thinking that, and I'm just going off of what Taz had mentioned earlier about it being a determining factor. But then he also said that it depends on if they have each other or not at that point. So again, Melita mentioned earlier in the conversation that she'll accept the things that he chooses to do with his hair, whether it's coloring it blonde. At first she's like, no blonde beard, but what happens if that's what he chooses to do, as opposed to what most men would accept if their wife came home with blonde hair and they had black hair, or short hair and they had long hair. Because I love certain things about women, but if I fail or if I fall for somebody and she doesn't have those qualities, that I won't pursue them or feel they need to be aroused by them. I will accept the woman that I have. Okay. So that's the work. That's compromise. That's basically what comes within a relationship in every marriage. There has to be a compromise at one point or another. What time is it? Blonde anything on a black dude is suspect. Okay. So there are definitely black guys that have blonde hair. Chris Brown. Who was that basketball player again? Not Odell Beckham. The other joint. He had purple hair. Didn't he have purple hair? There was a basketball player that had purple hair. I understand what you're saying, but some things are out of our control. Some men can't grow a beard, and some men can't control losing their hair versus making drastic changes. That is true, but I was just comparing that to the need or the desire to have or to possibly see what a certain look looks like on your significant other, and then it being a determining factor on whether you would stay with them or not, if that same thing would apply with age and growth changes. So that's the only reason why I brought that up. Dennis Rodman. Yes, that's exactly who I was thinking of. Thank you, Taz, for that. Seize in point. Suspect Odell is the worst example. That boy's sweet, but he can't bother. Okay, we're not going to go off topic here. Because hair color definitely has nothing to do with sexuality, though there are men out there getting fake beards, fake hair, all of that. So, having said that, thank you for bringing that up. But he was sus, though. Okay. So having said that, just as a woman can get a weave if she decides to cut her hair, like Nicole mentioned earlier in her conversation, she said if she came home with short hair, he would have a fit, and I guess she'd be wigging it out. Okay. So that's an easy fix. Just as a guy can get a beard, or they have those weaves now for men. I've seen the videos. I've actually seen it done. So there's compromise right there, right? Is that not compromise? So let's touch on women cutting their hair without telling their man first. Okay, we did touch on that. Unacceptable for a man to get a weave. I'm not going for it. But what if you met a man with a weave and you didn't even know? Just like men meet women with weaves, right? And half the time they don't know. So let's go there, Nicole. That's a deal breaker. So does that make it okay for it to be a deal breaker for a man? If a man meets a woman and she has a weave, can that be a deal breaker for him then? I'm bald and I'm not sure how many other half would react if I got a weave. I mean, if we can benefit, why can't they? Granted, I'm not feeling them, but if it makes him happy, then why not? Gotta clear that shit with the tower first. Sure, men like natural all around. I get it. But there are some men that do like weaves. There are some men that likes to change the look change and the diversity. But clear it with the tower. Let's talk about that. So let's talk about the decisions that we make. Let's talk about the decisions that we make. Do we feel as if, as a husband or a wife, any decision that you make with your hair, you have to ask permission? Because, that's normal. Weave is a part of life for most black women. Okay, so weave is a part of life for black women, and it's now a part of black men and Caucasian men and Hispanic men. I've seen them get weaves. I've seen the videos. They're out there and they're real. I've seen it in person, or live videos, I should say. So, a suggestion, sure. So Donovan mentioned when I was talking with him and his wife and my cousin Tina about that, they said that naturally any decision that they make about hair, they talk about it. Not as far as a permission thing, but just to say, hey babe, how would you feel if I did this to my hair? How would you feel if I did that with my hair? And just like somebody mentioned earlier, they definitely go into what's suspect or what's not suspect, and they're going to make sure that they're not setting each other up for failure. B. Veronica, one night, and April the next. Yes, with the hair and the weaves. If it's drastic, yes, I want to know how he would feel about it. Okay. Because as a woman and as a wife, it's okay and it's normal for you to be concerned about how your spouse is going to feel about what you look like. Because ultimately they have to look at you every day. But what about when you look at yourself every day and the change that you want to make? Is that something that you go to the hair salon and okay, we're gonna get back to those other comments. So she was like, oh, those aren't your real eye color. Like, that's like coming home and taking your muscles off. Mind you, she had on a wig, long curly hair. Okay, all right. We're not going to go into the whole real and fake realm of eyes and all of that and makeup and because because there's a lot of things out there that are just unreal and unnatural. But we're going to stick to the hair and the drastic change and the decision making and asking permission or just talking about it. And some women like Melita that kind of feel like she don't have to ask permission. She could just come home and he just has to deal with it and accept it. And then there are some men that are okay with that. Like Donovan said, he trusts that if his wife goes out there and makes a decision that she makes, if she cuts her hair, as long as she comes home and is cute, he doesn't mind it at all. And then there are other men like Dante over here that says he's not going for that unless it's cleared from the tower, as he says. No, I'm saying she said it like it was a deal breaker. Oh, okay. Got you. Right. I'll take your suggestions and concerns into consideration. But if it's something I really want to do, I just might do it. And that's the case. But then some people like Lois, she feels as if the discussion definitely, especially if it's something drastic, should be had before making that decision. So everyone has their insights on it. Everyone has their insights on it. And has their perspectives. But again, it depends on the person. It depends on the relationship. And it depends on the decisions and the differences that happen with hair on their normal day-to-day. And then some people can make that drastic cut and their hair grows back super fast. Like Melita, she can cut her hair and her hair grows back like weave and it'll be back in a matter of a few months. And then there are others that can do that and it definitely won't be the same result. So I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on the person's hair. I think it depends on their relationship with their significant other or husband. No, I'm saying that she's like this hair. Melita has always been rogue. Yeah, she's definitely rogue. She definitely makes her own decisions when it comes to her life decisions. Because my eyes help me see, but her wig helped her. Okay, I can't. All right, does anybody else have anything else that they want to add in on the conversation? If not, we're about to wrap it up. It's definitely been real. I definitely enjoyed this topic this week. More topics are already underway. It's just a matter of finding time for me, you guys. I know some people want this to be a weekly thing. I'm definitely trying. I can't promise that it's going to be a weekly thing, but definitely going to try to get them in when time allows or when schedule allows. What if your hair was a part of what made you attractive to me? I come home one day and you got the short and fuzzy. I'm going to be pissed off. Yeah, but it's hair and it'll grow back. Or I could just get a weave. No, she tried to down me because I really accepted her wig and I liked it. I knew it was a wig, but she didn't accept that I wore glasses. Ooh, that's not okay. That's definitely not okay. That's definitely not a relationship going into that's going to have compromise. Weave helps the hair grow. Yeah. All right. Oh, a lot of this depends on context. My husband has to stay low cut for work. So if he popped up one day with blonde hair, I would think he had a crisis. But people do have crises. People have midlife crises. And that's what I was asking Nicole earlier in the conversation when she said that her husband definitely doesn't like short hair. And I'm like, well, what if she decides to have a midlife crisis, goes to the hair salon, and, well, I think it was Tina, and I said, what if the wind is blowing you the right way, you just feel like you want short hair, and you're going to go get your hair done, and you just go ahead and do it. And then you come home, and like Dante said, with the short and fuzzy, and he has a problem. But Donovan said, if the hair is short and it's styled and you're still cute, that it's not a problem. But if you're looking like yesterday or last week's trash, because you came home and did the big chop trying to go natural and there's no style or no nothing to it and you're out here looking crazy, then that's a whole entirely different story. It's not just hair. I gotta wait for it to grow back. Looking at you. Oh. It's not just hair. I gotta wait for it to grow back. Looking at you look crazy. Short hair is hard to manage. So once every 2 weeks, you're gonna look Well, yes, some women use it as a protective style. I have a friend who wears weaves, but her natural hair is long and beautiful. Definitely. I have a buddy of mine that I work with the mood modeling, Kiana. Her hair is probably down here, but she wears weaves all the time. Her weaves is like down to her butt. How long? It's going to be cute though. That's my point. A lot of this depends. Okay. All right, so it looks like I've caught up on messages and responses. If I missed your message or your comment, I'm sorry, but we're gonna wrap it up, y'all. It's late. I know some kiddos got school in the morning. It's been a great talk. Definitely gonna post this on the Facebook group page, Mo's Talk. So definitely follow that if you're not following it already. Definitely comment on new topics that you guys want to hear or want to discuss. I already have an ongoing list. We're gonna add to it, and then we'll go from there. You guys stay blessed. Have a great night.